this amazing venture that you're starting to pull together and be really intentional about here in Houston is something that you've done elsewhere, correct? Like you did this in where you came from, Beaumont. Did we talk about?
No,
No?
I did not do this in Beaumont.
But you got divorced in Beaumont, and
I did get divorced in Beaumont. And this is what led me to wanting to specialize specifically in divorce situations.
So tell me about that, because we had a conversation and it was very enlightening, and I connected with you a ton throughout that conversation, and that process has only continued because of my own personal experience with divorce. But tell me a little bit about kind of where yours plays a role in your decision to build this out.
I had already practiced real estate for a year prior to filing for divorce. And we had a family home that did have a mortgage, and it was one of those where we were going to sell it. I knew that was an inevitable thing. I did not want to stay in the area, so I was going to move, and he wasn't going to want the home. So naturally, I thought that as a real estate professional, it'd be easy for me to list the home. No big deal. What I didn't expect was all the controversial topics and issues that came about during that real estate transaction. And I realized that there's a huge need in the divorce community for a professional to come in, be unbiased, and to mitigate between the parties and to just take that off of their shoulders at that time. They've got so much that they're focusing on and worrying about with the divorce that they don't really need to worry about the transaction of the home itself.
Right. I think it's especially interesting because like we are professionals in this space, and even going through my own divorce, I still ran into things where I was not led or guided through and couldn't have foreseen. And this is what we do as part of our careers, and it's our practice, right? Imagine the average consumer.
Right.
And their inability to know what's different or not, or what's unusual or okay. Right. And so I think it's pretty phenomenal that you're putting together this concierge experience and service for clients and divorce attorneys, because ultimately it's not just servicing the client and making their experience better, but it's helping divorce attorneys.
One of the things that I really want to mention is that I, at all times, keep the attorney CC'd in on all communications. So there's never any question. If you go in to consult with your attorney, we've had your home appraised or we've spoken about what you want to do with the home. You go in and speak with your attorney. They're well aware of what we've discussed. So you don't have to have that conversation over again. They know where you're at. They know what the home is worth. They have every piece of the puzzle that they need to help you in your negotiations. And I've also partnered with a financial firm because there is the financial aspect, the impact that divorce has on individuals. In particular, there's a lot of things that you may think you can afford, and realistically, you get on the other side of divorce and you maybe shouldn't have done that. Mm-hmm. And it's a little too late. So I want to have that financial analysis and that financial planning up front. So when you reach out to me, what we do is we look at your home, what it's worth. We look at where that puts you in terms of financially, or financial wealth rather. And then also we look at the mortgage side of it too. So you can know all of your options and maybe have 2 or 3 to choose from versus just going in there and having no idea what you're doing.
Right. I think what makes it unique about what you're building is I've seen this in my time in mortgages where agents recognize the need and maybe the opportunity to service attorneys in the divorce space. But you've almost created a holistic, well-rounded approach to not only helping the real estate side of things, but also what does your discretionary spending look like, taxes, and that financial approach. And that's what I just have loved being able to see what you're building out, and because it is going to help service not just one marginal area of what divorce entails, but so many others as well.
Yeah. Well, the goal for me is ultimately not to get the listing or not to represent them on their purchase. The whole goal for me is to help them through this process. It's already so hard for everybody that goes through that. Whether you want it or not, it is a very emotional process and it's stressful. If there's children involved, it's 10 times harder, I think. And there is so much that professionals in each industry can do to alleviate some of that stress and those pains for you, that my goal is to kind of take that weight off of your shoulders. And let's get you through the divorce. Let's get you the best possible goal that we can. Maybe it's not always what they want, but let's get them the best that they can get. And then, let's make a 5-year plan. And if you want to buy your dream home in 5 years, then we make the plan to do that. And we come back around and we revisit each other at that point, and we get the family home that you've always wanted.